Called compulsory, here we go, compulsory, let me show you, single-sex lavatories for all restaurants and offices. Now, I was trying to get my head around this. What this means is you can't offer what we would call a mingled toilet, which is where men and women go in together. You have to offer one for women and one for men. If you want to offer a third loo, a mingling loo, you can do that. What do you think, Tessa?
Well, my initial reaction was, if you're popping, you just want a loo, right? A desperate woman. If you're pregnant, sometimes it just pushes on out. So what you want is therefore a loo. Now, a lot of places in New York, for example, where there's a premium on space, don't have any loo. You go in to buy your giant burger and your huge shake and you end up going, where can I do a WAS? So I looked into this in detail. If there is only room for one cubicle, it's okay for that to be for all genders.
Ooh.
So that was my first concern, phew. And then I'm like, but if we can share just one cubicle, why can't we just share one loo in a bigger space? And the great irony of this, and forgive me for mentioning it, but I don't think
we've already mentioned a number of things.
But on the alt-right channel GB News, who'll be heavily campaigning for this, their loos are neutral. So I end up washing my hands next to Michael Portillo. You know, and if I can do that...
But James, you run the Albert Hall, or you're close to running it. And
wow.
I've noticed when I've been in the Albert Hall,
yes,
phenomenal queues
yes,
of men. And you've done something to the loos.
Well, no, there's phenomenal queues
of
everybody. I think, look, this is an issue. The Royal Albert Hall has its own particular issues when it comes to lavatories, and that is that when it was first built, next door to it, where the steps are now, used to be a whole load of greenhouses, and that's where all the loos and the catering and everything else were. So when those were all knocked down and they started to build the rest of Albertopolis as it's known, the Royal College of Music and all these other things, and they took away these greenhouses, so suddenly they had to fit in loos, and there aren't enough loos for the amount of space. Now, I sort of take the view that if you can have single-sex loos, then that's all very well. I think a gender-neutral lavatory as well helps with dealing with these issues. But I really dislike the way that this is sort of being weaponised. And they keep saying, oh, no, it's not weaponised and it's not culture and war politics and all this sort of business. It should actually be down to the business to decide what they want to do. It should also be down to trying to work out with the amount of space. And I think as soon as you start applying extra rules and burden and regulation and basically politicising what is a lavatory, I think it's a horrible place that we've ended up. And I think also we do have to, particularly in venues...
That's the election. That's what the way
it is the election, but that's where, particularly with venues, and all venues like theatres and everything else suffer from the fact that ladies generally have single individual lavatories, and then gentlemen have urinals, which means that you can get more people in, more people out. And to be honest, I think we need to have a look at the general lavatory provision.
Okay.
Generally, as opposed to focusing on single sex.
I want to suggest that behaviours on both sides might improve and do improve in a neutral space. Women spend less time titivating because they don't want to be seen to be preening, and men probably splash around a little bit less so it doesn't smell as bad. And there's a positive there, because if you're a woman, the queues are longer for girls, and sometimes I duck into a man's loo because I'm desperate.
No, you should never do that.
Never do what?
No.
If I'm desperate. Well, sometimes.
There is a real lack of awareness among women of what goes on in men's loos. I saw a tweet the other day saying, I do not want to share a toilet, this is a woman tweet, with people who are using the basins to wash their genitalia. And I'm thinking, have you ever seen that? I've never seen anyone doing that in a men's loo. What do you think goes on in there?
No, it's not. But they do. Maybe it's just your pee smells stronger, but they do have a different smell.
Okay, all right.
Men's loos, but a neutral space is less.
Okay, I think we've done enough urine.
Okay.